Today we will learn about trapezoids and how to find area and perimeter of it. Okay, so the original equation is right here. Area equals 1/2 height times base plus base 2, where base 1 and base 2 represent each base, so the bottom and the top, right here and right here. And the height is right here. So a little of a mix of parallelograms and rectangles. So we have our two bases and our one height. As long as we have this information or can figure that information out, we can solve for the area of a trapezoid. So using just the formula as it follows, this is what you have to do. 1/2 times height times the quantity of base 1 plus base 2. What are my bases? 10 and 16. So we put them in here. My height is 8, so I put that right there. And what do? I add up the bases, then I multiply everything, and I would get area equals 104 feet. Perimeter is the same thing as always. I'm adding the outside sides. So even before looking at the work, I should know that I'm adding 16 plus 9 plus 10 plus 9. And that's exactly what they did right here. And they got perimeter equals 44 feet. Maybe this equation confuses you, so we're going to break it down to its simplest form. So look at this. The area of a trapezoid and perimeter. So these are the 3 steps. That's it. You only need 3 steps for area of a trapezoid. Add the bases. It's the top and the bottom. Then you multiply by the height. Then you divide by 2. And that's it. I would highly suggest writing this down on your homework sheet. That way you know exactly what to do whenever you draw your figures, okay? You just have to follow these 3 steps. Perimeter, you don't have to write it down if you don't need to. It's just adding all the sides of the trapezoid. So let's try an example or two. So right here, it says find the area of the trapezoid. All right. Now, what is my equation? Area equals 1/2 times base times height times the addition of the bases. But let's just follow my first steps. So what are my bases? All right. Generally, those are the flat surfaces. See how they're parallel to each other? Those would always be my base. So we have 7 plus 15. If we get that in the calculator, we would get 22. Then what do I have to do next? I have to multiply by the height. So I would do 22 times 6. Put that in the calculator, we get 132. And what's the last step? I have to divide by 2. And you would get 66. Okay? And that's your area. Don't forget feet squared. This one doesn't have the perimeter. It's just finding the area. But remember, we're just adding the outside. So again, let's just imagine this is 10 and this is 5. Just making up numbers right here. How do I find the perimeter? I would add the outside. So 15 plus 5 plus 7 plus 10. And that will give you a perimeter. I'm really just going to focus on area because I know that one is the more complicated one. Perimeter, same concept every time. Find the area of this trapezoid. Now I'm looking for the two parallel lines. Those are my bases. So if you said 20 and 14, you are correct. So let's try it. 20 plus 14, we will get 34. What's my next step? Multiply by the height. So 34 times 12. If I put that in a calculator, you get 408. Last step is to divide by 2. So 408 divided by 2 equals 204. What's my measurement? Millimeters squared. Whoops, squared. That's it. So again, I'm looking at my steps, add the bases, multiply by height, divide by 2. And that's it. Perimeter, add all the sides. This is the homework, okay? It gives you all the information you need, except for the last one problem. Right here, I want you to think before I give you the answer. All the other ones have the bases, right? 30, 18, 20, 11. This one says 13, has a 7 and a 7 here, but I'm missing this part. I'm missing it. I want you to think about rectangles. What number should go in here? If you said 13, you are correct. Okay. Remember, on a rectangle, opposite sides are the same. So this would be 13, this would be 8. Now, if this is 13, we got 7, 13, and 7. What's my base? Right? What's the whole length, the total length? If you said the total was 27 feet, you would be correct. Okay? So the total length would be 27 feet. And that's how you would solve for a missing part, if possible. Okay? Now you have 27 feet, 13 feet. You can put that into your steps and solve. Over here. Let's go over number 1 just real quick. My steps were to add the bases. So what are my bases? 8 and 12. We would get 20. After that, we multiply by the height. So 20 times 4 equals 80. Divide by 2. 80 divided by 2 is 40. And that's your answer. 40 meters squared. If I want to find a perimeter, I'm going to add everything on the outside. Let me just show you real quick how you can write this down. So again, area, 8 plus 12 equals 20. 20 times 4 equals 80. 80 divided by 2 equals 40 meters squared. These are the steps I want you to write down. Perimeter, we're going to just add everything up on the outside. So make sure we're not touching the 4. The 4 is on the inside. That's my height. That is not on the outside. So we have 8 plus 5 plus 12 plus 5. If I put that all together, you should get 30 meters, and that will be your answer. All right, that's basically it for this lesson. Just remember, area of trapezoid, add the bases, multiply the height, divide by 2. Perimeter, add all sides of the trapezoid.